Imagine being a 13-year-old child about to enter high school. You spend the first 2 years of your high school life in your bedroom, and the only way you can interact with your new classmates and friends is through your phone or laptop. This has been the reality for Australian students who began high school in lockdown, and we have yet to see the full consequences of this lockdown on these young teenagers as they now begin to return to face-to-face learning. These students were spending up to 90% of their day on some form of technology in lockdown and began to see this as the norm. This leads us to our research challenge. How has the overly increased reliance on technology during the lockdowns negatively impacted children and their health, with a focus on cognitive and social, and what are the implications moving forward?
The research question tries to understand and look at what the over-reliance on technology at a younger age could constitute for these individuals going forward. Research conducted by the University of Stanford indicate that technology already has, and more than likely will, continue to decline individuals' well-being. This indicates that relying too much on technology could have long-term adverse effects on individual social and cognitive skills. Furthermore, observations made to a similar target audience by the University of Rhode Island indicated the effects ranging from loss of privacy, lessened ability to multitask, mental and health-related issues, and changing social norms. This issue is especially important as we need to be aware of the benefits that technology provide, however the ability to use this in moderation and not develop a total reliance on it, and this is what we looked at throughout our study.
When gleaning the correct methodology to use, we inferred from literature that utilized similar action research methodology to obtain our results. Ballantyne, Packer, and Everett invoked the methodology put forth by Griffin, who utilized three-part strategy when obtaining information on children. The correlations this draws with our research question has provoked the use of this methodology. Griffin utilized a three-pronged approach, which involved observing student engagement, which will be done by teachers, obtaining students' personal declarations, and understanding the main message behind these declarations. As we are unable to interview children due to ethical reasons, we have utilized the inputs from an occupational therapist who works closely with adolescents to provide an idea of the impact of these technologies from our target age group's perspective. The observations required 5 separate teachers to monitor the same 30-student class across 1 week. This was done through an observation sheet as pictured on the slide. These questions consisted of both observations whilst homeschooling was taking place, alongside observations whilst at school, assessing concentration and attentiveness. The survey was provided online in an open-ended fashion due to the detail we could obtain in the answers provided. Our results provided an authentic view on the overutilization of technology during COVID. Both the occupational therapists and teachers that we interviewed saw that students' ability had been increasing, evidenced through higher grades alongside more in-depth answers during class. However, they attributed this solely to the overutilization of technology, advising that students would turn to Google for any answer when called upon, and hence were not using their brain/understanding of the topic to provide an answer. Empirical evidence has drawn conclusions similar to ours. Orbison et al. Found that teacher-directed technology usage saw an increase in adolescent performance, as the teachers would have control over how the technology was used. However, putting the onus on the students' hands saw the exploitation of this technology, like the results we obtained from the people we surveyed. The study invoked that technology is better suited for teacher demonstration, rather than for students to utilize with the freedom to do whatever they please. Hence, we have been able to glean the correlations our results have with similar research conducted upon a similar issue. Over-reliance on technology is a vast issue within adolescent students, provoked by the occurrence of COVID. This has led to cognitive inefficiencies, such as an inability to think for oneself and one's ability to read and comprehend. Hence, the increased ability and class participation seen by the teachers we have interviewed are offset by the inability of these students to think for themselves.
The move to online learning and working from home has moved society to an even more sedentary lifestyle where all aspects of life from work, communication, leisure, and even recreation can be done with the aid or reliance of technology. The effects of this increased reliance of technology can be broken down into 2 distinct categories: physical health outcomes and cognitive outcomes. Firstly, the largely negative health outcomes from a sedentary lifestyle was predicted to largely increase the demand for healthcare. Economists believe there will be a shortage of 35,000 to 52,000 adult primary physicians by 2025, mainly a result of preventable diseases such as obesity and cardiovascular disorders as a result of an overly sedentary lifestyle. The prevalence of these health issues will lead to lower than efficient productivity in the workplace and cause an unnecessary overinvestment into the healthcare industry. Secondly, the effect of technology on a student's cognitive abilities means that students are no longer thinking for themselves and critically analyzing information that has been taught to them. Therefore, the over-reliance on technology is killing critical thinking, and students are developing a habit of finding direct answers to problems and missing out on the how and why aspects. This means that although students seem to be improving in the theory aspects in the classroom, they are unable to develop the necessary soft skills that come from in-depth discussions and deeper relationships with educators and peers.
Throughout our findings, it was clear to see that the over-reliance on technology was having a significant impact on the students' attitude and focus during in-person learning. We understand that this was an issue that couldn't be amended right away, and thus our solution is a slow integration wherein we send small packages to school for certain projects, relying on nothing but the students' cognitive ability and their ability to work amongst one another. The image on the left shows the materials from our first sample, which we were able to run with one class at our participating school, wherein they were required to work in teams of 4 to build a self-standing tower and elevate one marshmallow as high as possible. Alongside this, we gave the teacher an observation sheet, which outlined key areas to look out for that were targeting similar aspects discussed in our survey. The observation over a 3-day period, it was seen that the students were able to familiarise themselves with the project and work together, hence building their social skills and come up with innovative designs in order to achieve the given task. As this was done without the use of technology, they were really challenged to apply knowledge they already had, thus addressing the cognitive aspect to achieve this. This was clearly reflected by the difference in size over the 3-day period. If we had more time, we would look toward increasing the magnitude of our solution, in that we would look to partner up with existing companies and offer our packages as a mean for them to communicate and raise awareness for the issue. We understand that our solution at the moment is on a smaller scale. However, through further research, we would aim to implement our solution into the government-run school initiatives wherein tasks like these are introduced and run throughout different subjects and incorporated into the syllabus. However, for the first trial run of our solution, it was positive to see the shift in students' ability and engagement, and were able to succeed using the soft skills that they already developed.